All right, friends, TexAgs Rewind. We've hit the part of the year where the transition happens. Nick, did you notice the transition?
Yes, I'm the one that started that transition. If you see that,
which transition did you start?
The basketball with the football. Because football and basketball are going on right now at the same time.
At the exact same time. So we did a lot of basketball.
Not for much longer, though.
No,
unfortunately.
2 more weeks. We did a lot of basketball talk today. Bentz came in studio. He was great. Appreciate him. We also had Joni Taylor on the program. She is just awesome. I love talking to her. That was a fun conversation. We had Olin Buchanan. That's right. OB was on the show, and Charean Williams joined us. We did Aggies in the NFL, and we talked Aggie football. We talked Aggie basketball. We did a little bit of everything. And then what did you think? Jordan Pugh and Jamie McCoy, they always bring some good insight, don't they?
Yeah, they sure do. Jamie wasn't on this rewind, but Jordan Pugh was, and I like the question you asked him. Well, what 3 things would you do to, fix the Aggie football program? And I feel like his answer is pretty spot on. You'll get to hear it in the rewind.
I'm just going to let you do it. That was great. You don't need me. Just what he just did. He pointed at the rewind. Watch it, guys. So, Charean, we've heard for a while now when it rains, it pours for A&M. So, A&M football, where are they at now? Is it, hurricane? What's going on?
Yeah, until you get better, it's funny because Jesus Ortiz reminded me, he used to work for the Houston Chronicle, and reminded me this week that I had said after the loss to Appalachian State that this was a team that probably wouldn't win more than 4 games if they couldn't figure out their defensive and offensive lines. And I forgot I said that. It's pretty accurate. Until you get better on the offensive line and defensive line, you're probably not going to win very many football games, and that's kind of where they are. So, you just use these last 2 weeks to practice and hope you can pull off an upset, against LSU, and hope you can win this week. This week certainly isn't a lock.
It's a lock
to win, but yeah, it is a lock for A&M to win.
UMass, yes.
You're guaranteeing it, Olin?
I will guarantee this one.
Right. Okay. All right. I hope you're right. We have this Aggie syndrome now. I don't know. I'm after the loss to App State, I'm not taking anything for granted.
This is
point.
One that I will absolutely crawl out on the limb for.
All right. All right. Well, I'm coming for the game, so I hope you're right. But, you use these practices. You get better. You use the snap. I saw the statistic this week of how many true freshmen had played snaps. It's incredible the number of snaps that true freshmen have gotten for. To think these kids a year ago playing high school football to come in and start in the SEC, some of this you probably should have seen coming when they're ranked 6th in the country. They obviously shouldn't have been 6th in the country.
Joni, let's talk a little bit about the most recent game against Army, forcing 23 turnovers into 26 points. That high-intensity defense certainly paid off.
Army is really, really, really good. Missy does a wonderful job of running person offense for them. They shot 45 threes coming into our game, and so, I was really nervous about them being able to get the 3-ball off. That's something that we could not allow for them to go, trade 3s for 2s. I thought our players did a really, really good job of covering up the 3-point line and taking that away and forcing them to score in a tougher way, and that was what we have got to do, not only on Sunday, but every single time out. We've got to take away our opponent's primary option on the offensive side of the ball.
And
likewise, I'll add to that and say we also need that because we need our defense to create points and generate points for us. And so, those turnovers came in handy because it manufactured points for us.
Joni, I see you often, but I didn't get to talk to you about this whole summer. How was that? How was that experience there in Sydney?
Man, it was amazing. I remember my grandmother saying this all the time, but, you're literally standing in the blessings that you prayed for. Since I've become a coach and been able to experience USA basketball from afar, it's something that I always wanted to do, and never in my wildest dreams, but I still think it would be something to be able to do at the national level. And so to be with, Cheryl Reeve and Mike Tebow, Carol Lawson, who actually were about to play this week, and those players, that's the future Olympic team you're talking about possibly. And so just to be able to be around that, the air is thinner up there for a reason. And then obviously just anytime you're with USA basketball, there's only one option. There's only one plan, and that is a gold medal. And so to be just around that standard of excellence, just iron sharpens iron.
3 things you want to see this offseason. 3, I would say, easy fixes or things that you think can be done to put this team back to where they need to be.
Oh, first thing, hire offensive coordinator. I'm backing up the Brinks truck for offensive coordinator. Like I've said all season, I've been consistent with this all season. Jimbo is a great head coach. I think he's a good CEO, a good manager. But I think he needs to divvy off that task. I think he has too much on his plate. I have to find somebody who can be creative. The number one job of a coach is one to accumulate talent, but it's also to be able to use the talent as best see fit, right? So you have the talent. What can we do best with that? I think if you can find a guy who's super creative, who can have multiple formations, shifts, motions, get guys in space, I think you'll see us flourish offensively because we have the pieces in place to do it, especially the young pieces in place. That's the first thing that I would do. The second thing that I would do, and I've been thinking about this for about a week now, I think I would fire Durkin as the DC. I think the defense has played well, but I think there's too many gaps. There's too many times that our athleticism has bailed us out. I would find somebody else that would fit our scheme better, that would use our personnel better, and I think would be more aggressive. We have a lot of talent, man. I think we have a really good defensive line that's coming up. I think we can get a lot more pressure defensively, especially with our young guys in the backfield, the defensive backfield as well. So I would look at making a change there too, as far as the offensive defensive side. And then the other thing, that I would do if I'm that athletic director, I would really sit Jimbo down and I would just have a heart-to-heart with him about just the direction of the program. So we talked about the changes on offensive defense, but philosophy-wise, as far as how we recruit, as far as how we use this transfer portal, how we use the NIL to our, I would look at that from a philosophy standpoint outside of the lines of the football field. So those would be the 3 things that I would attack if I was in charge.
What about Buzz and the guys transitioning there? What have you noticed early this season?
They're very good.
Good.
And I'm going to take, and I'm going to steal it, and I don't know if you've spoken to Andrew, but I trust Andrew Monaco. I mean, the man did so many NBA games and everything else, but he saw me, he came and had breakfast one morning, and he goes, that team's very good. He didn't say pretty, he said, that team's very good. And he knows basketball better than me as far as, men's talent and games like that. And, I just love the fact that these guys picked up defensively where I thought they were last year. I didn't get a chance to see Abilene Christian. I was at the high school football game. But that first game, Louisiana Monroe did not have one shot that was uncontested. I mean, they were like 1 for 11 from the three-point line. And I was like, well, yeah, it's hard when every shot you take, you have a hand in your face. And then A&M was phenomenal shooting three-pointers, but they were wide open on every time. Ball movement, ball reversal, it has been very big on them, both teams offensively. They're just not keeping the ball on one side of the floor. And, and I keep stealing lines, I know. And John Thornton said, how much easier now? So last year, when we talk about Buzz, how he builds his culture first, then the basketball.
Right.
So now you got all these guys returning, that are building the culture. The culture's there, so it's easier for these guys to acclimate and go, well, heck, the culture works. Then we can start worrying about basketball, And so now that you have all those returners doing it. Now, even last year, who'd you have? Boots that he brought from Virginia Tech trying to say, hey, this works. Y'all just got to do it. And it took a while. I mean, the lead-in, I think, this morning was Logan talking about the 8-game losing streak last year. But then the culture and the basketball all came together towards the end. And I think because Buzz and I'm not saying he doesn't focus on basketball, but he focuses on the culture first, and we're bringing you into our family, that they buy into it too.
When you got the right guys, that is such a winning formula, right? Like if you don't have the right guys, you can't do this family style, and you can't get through an 8-game losing streak. But when you really feel like your brother next to you's got your back no matter what, and you guys are there to fight together, it gets you through those hard moments and helps you in the good moments.
Yeah, because how many CEOs and top 10, whatever big-time corporations talk about, we're still working on our culture. Culture is a great word to use. I think Buzz has figured it out because it seems like he's done it at every stop and because of his reputation. But, it's going to be easier now because he can only go – he has the ability now to really just handpick the guys that he thinks will fit his culture. Maybe those other 2 years, he was either this is who you have or well, we need to get some bodies with some talent. Maybe they won't, maybe they will.
Nick, do you find yourself watching more YouTube videos now and seeing how people close out of videos?
Yeah. I mean, I've always kind of watched YouTube videos, but yeah, I like the way you do it.
How do I do it?
You tell them to like, they need to subscribe, they got to share with their friends. That's a good thing. Turn on notifications so they know whenever we post Rewinds. Usually it comes out around 11:40 if I do my job right. That's about it. Comment.
Yeah.
I forgot to comment.
Yeah, got to comment.
Tell
Come on.
David how awesome he is at asking questions at press conferences.
Yeah, please do. Please do, because you know I respond to you. I respond to everyone. I am a shallow man. I know. I don't care. It is what it is, and that's me. Thanks for watching.